ironically, that summer, I don't want to say lapses because it was super, impressive for Italy to win as well, Yamato, but that could have played in people's minds.
100%. I think also, like, they broke regular split records in terms of not dropping games. It's like the volume that you go throughout the year needs to matter. I understand weighing, the key moments, which is, of course, in terms of how the whole esports split is just built up, of course, is that the Worlds is the final crescendo, everything in terms of the storyline, this is what you're preparing for. It needs to be weighed more heavy, but I think looking at the details, Gen.G was the team everyone said for the majority of the year being like the best team in the world, and that needs to matter.
Yeah. I also think that MSI is something that over the last 2 years I've increased in my personal value. I think this tournament is actually great. Double elimination, so many best of fives. Like when Gen.G won that, they were like, they're the best team. Like I felt the ranking we got there where it was like Gen.G's the best team in the world, BLG second best, T1's
G2 TES.
Honestly, yes. Like I think that the way that they played, they did look like they were the fourth best team in the world. I would make the argument at that point they were. So
I was memeing, but thank you.
No, I actually believe they were. I think they were actually really good. So I value that tournament very highly. I think winning MSI is difficult. It's not just winning one best of 5 LPL versus LCK like we had in previous years. In the last 2 years, this tournament matters a lot.
I agree. Right. New MSI is insane.
Let's see the winner. The winner of Team of the Year is T1.
Congratulations, T1.
I think we have a message from T1 as well.
Hello, this is Becker. I'm a general manager of the T1 League of Legends team. On behalf of our team, I'd like to express my gratitude and appreciation to receive this award. I think 2024 has been a quite dramatic year, lots of ups and downs, but at the end we were able to repeat and get the World Championship once again. So I would like to thank all the players and the coaching staff and the entire organization for this accomplishment. But most importantly, thank you very much for our fans who have faith in us and who have supported us in any circumstances. Next year is going to be another epic year, but I have a deep faith in our players and our coaches. So wish us a good luck. And again, thank you very much for this award, and we hope for the good year next year. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Awesome. Thank you, Becker. I think it goes to show what we were just talking about, like what do you value? And I think a lot of people did value the fact that for T1 to kind of win the World Championship last year, then to come back, to struggle in different ways than they had the year before, to have that nail biter versus KT, the fact that going into Worlds, I remember watching your video on it, and said top 8 would be a great success for this team because of the state it was in. I think a lot of people value the mythos, the story of T1 very highly, and you can't fault them for that.
I think another argument for T1 is they're still second in spring. That was one of the best LCK finals we've ever seen in terms of competition. Third at MSI. I think this summer was horrendous because they barely made it to playoffs. They managed to beat Damwon and KT, but they dropped off and they were very, very easily bested by Howalife and, of course, Gen.G. And then, of course, just almost losing to KT after losing to Damwon out of all teams who not qualified to the World Championship. That is, of course...
he said what he said, bro.
I thought Damwon is not making it, by the way. Like
that's just the way he said. Damn one. It's
it's just damn one. Like how they win it, man.
I do know from the breakdown of the votes specifically. I don't know if I can look behind the curtain, right? It's fine. But we had overwhelming community votes for T1. I think that's normal. They also have a huge fan base that are very supportive to them. And then when it came to the panel, it broke down a lot for Gen.G and BLG as well, actually. But the aggregate pushed T1 over the line, and I think you could argue for any of these teams. I mean, my personal favorite was BLG. I think I love BLG, and the evolutions they've been through in the last couple of years, and what they've showed is great. But the thing is, for people, you got to win a World, you got to win an MSI, and they fell just short twice. But that does bring us to our very last award.
The biggest award. We've got Player of the Year.
We do.
So let's see the nominees.
Player of the Year. Knight, Faker, Peanut, Keen, Caps, Bin, Zeka. Keria, Chovy,
There we go. Player of the year. Contentious one. I'm just going to say it again for people at home. 70% panel, 30% community. I think you need to think about the things that happen when people vote for things and when panel fights for things specifically and what keels over. What do you think the ideal answer is for player of the year, and what are your criteria?
I think for me personally, I think it's just overall greatness in terms of what you bring. In terms of what you bring to the position, I think for me there's two that stand out in Chovy and Bin in terms of always raising the bar, being the best player in their position, and just being so damn dangerous throughout the entire year. Like Bin, MSI, the Gen G best of 5, he was a demon. I think even in the best of 5 against T1 too, he was a goddamn demon.
Yeah.
These are players that when you see their nameplate, you are scared as shit, and that was the case the entire year.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Chovy this year. I thought that the level of play he was on was just crazy, specifically in playoffs, in LCK, in spring. It just felt like he was the final boss of every game. Like, even if his team was all inting, he was just taking over every single game. So I thought the way that he played, that was the best League of Legends I've ever seen. Watching the game, I've never seen somebody play at that level. Even though it was domestic, I still value it really heavily because it is LCK. And yeah, I just really liked the way he played overall. I think the 80 meta was insane for him. Corki, Tristana, these types of champions being the mainstays mid lane. Thought he was the best in the world at that. So yeah, I just was a huge fan of his play this year. I think he was the best player.
I'm also a BLG Andy, actually. It's crazy because you also saw, the arc he has had and how the 369 rivalry and then him coming out on top. Also the fact that he went above and beyond outside of the game to make everyone a fan of what he did, and then being the type of top laner he is and making it to that MSI final and that Worlds final,
He's just cool.
Yeah,
he's so cool.
Yeah, I voted
it's
for
epic.
Chovy. I think this guy was just
It's epic.
a cut above every else game mid laner.
But shall we reveal it? Who is the player of the year?
Yamato,
Yamato?
Kind of nervous.
final award.
Are you?
I'm very
Yamato,
nervous.
you better be careful what you pull out of here right now. I'm just telling you.
It's the 5-time, baby. It's Mr. Faker himself.
Oh man, I think we have a message from Faker as
We
well.
do.
안녕하세요. T1의 미드라이너 페이커 이상준입니다. 오늘 리그 어워즈 올해 선수상 받게 됐다고 들었는데 이번에 또 초대의 수상인 만큼 굉장히 의미가 있는 것 같고 앞으로도 더 열심히 해보겠습니다. 감사합니다.
It's so cool. He sent
Yeah,
the
it's so
video.
nice Faker sent a video in.
That's amazing.
What do we think?
I can see why he was voted
Yeah.
that. I think that when he had his carry moments, his clutch moments, I mean, it was just an epic showing. It was something where everyone felt kind of in that series watching it. Even the mood of the arena in finals, what I'm talking about, is people thought oh man, is BLG just gonna win? The games that BLG won were extremely stompy, and then he came through in such clutch moments, and I think that this is what's sticking in everyone's mind. They just remember that Silas play, they remember the Galio play,
Yeah.
they're I mean, that was something where I was damn, he is just the GOAT.
Clutch
He just
factor is
really
so
is the
amazing.
GOAT.
It's so crazy because I remember on the desk we talked about the Silas play particularly, and we brought up the talking point of the play on Ruler the year before.
Yep.
Because you have to take into account the moment in which these things are happening. This isn't happening in a week 5 of a regular season, right? This is happening in the knockout round of Worlds, nay, the semi-final or the finals of the World Championship. And I feel for me, he really he took even on a different level in that regard, because now you can never count